Yeah. Okay. 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 All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your instructor, Pierre Hui, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience, the P is for perseverance, the P is mainly for today, as of right now, this second. Pass your motherfucking test. I want to give a special shout out to all my students that have just accumulated their 1,500 hours. They accumulated their 1,500 hours. First official class of all even barber school. We waiting on word from state board so they can get started with their testing and all that good stuff. So a lot of people don't understand, and I'll break that down a little bit before we get started with our barber theory study, which is the topic. Okay, but it's a process, right? When you complete your hours, so let me back up a little bit more. When you are a barber student, they send you, when you sign up, you send in your application, they send you a student permit. The student permit bonds, what's happening? The student permit says, okay, you can cut hair at this place as a student. That place can either be a barbershop if you are if you are an OJT, which stands for on the job training student, or if you are a barber student at a barber school. Okay, so you have that permit. If state board comes in, they don't give you a problem. They see the permit, they see that's some type of permission for you to cut hair as a student. All right, now the thing is, for a school, it is 1,500 hours. For a OJT or on the job training student, it is 1,920 hours. Now, the thing about it is, once you complete your hours, whether you are an OJT or a barber student, what has to happen is you have to send your permit back. Okay. When you send your permit back, I, as an instructor, have to send back it's called a training affidavit. The training affidavit just says out of 1,500 hours, this many out, 450 hours went to haircutting, 50 hours went to shaving, or this. You have to break down how many hours you spent for each topic, for each subject, and things like that. So, that being said, once you send that in, now you have to wait on state board to send back a what's called an authorization to test. That just says, okay, we acknowledge that you received the hours. We validate the hours. Now that's really important too. We'll come to that in a minute. So they acknowledge the hours, they validate the hours, and then they say, okay, now you can register to sign up to take the test, which is different from, okay, I got the hours, I can go take the test now. No, it don't work that way. You got to make sure everything is reflected in the paperwork. So as an instructor, as a school owner, I have to make sure all of those pieces of paperwork are filled out, they've been delivered, they've been notarized, they have been signed correctly, they have been dated correctly. It sounds like it ain't nothing. Is more than you think it is. It's a lot more than you think it is, and it's very, very important. So when I say congratulations to the students for completing their hours, that means all the documents have been signed, all the documents have been notarized, all the documents have been recognized by state board, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the paperwork is done, and all we're waiting on now is the authorization to test. And while you get an authorization to test, thank you for the likes. Thank you so much. While you're waiting for that, you also get a 90-day work permit. Here's what that means. For 90 days, one time you don't have your license, for 90 days, wherever you're going to go, wherever you're going to apply your trade, you're allowed to do that while you're doing what you need to do to get your license. Okay. That is issued in the state of South Carolina, which is where I'm based. That is issued to you one time in your whole career. One time. So a lot of times I tell students, if you're a barber student, you completed your hours, you did everything you're supposed to do, don't be playing around with this test, because after them 90 days, you're doing what we call, you're cutting dirty. You don't want to be cutting dirty. We've seen it. It's out there. It exists. Trust me, I'm very familiar with the whole concept. I'm familiar with the practice, but you don't want to be doing that, because you never know when state board can just pull up on your ass. And guess what? They will pull up on your ass. All right. Now, that being said, let's get into it real quick. I'm not going to be on here long today. Today is Tuesday. I break down the 4 parts per day, meaning Monday is 1, Tuesday is 1, Wednesday is 1, Thursday is 1. Okay, typically on Monday, I know I missed y'all this Monday. I know I missed y'all this past Monday. Apologies, but I'm going to make it up to you. Okay, I got some good stuff for you guys. All right. Typically on Monday, I do scientific concepts. So the 4 sections is what I'm talking about. I'm referring to the CIB, which stands for the Candidate Information Bulletin. Candidate Information Bulletin, or the CIB, just refers to the percentages that your Barber theory is going to be tested on. Now, here's the thing we start learning through our virtual private study, which is part of my class, Past Barber Theory. Okay, doesn't get more self-explanatory than that. It is available, link in my bio, all that good stuff. We'll get to that soon too. All right, it breaks it down into 4 sections. You have scientific concepts, 35%. Hair care services, 40%. Implements, tools, and equipment, 10%. And facial hair and skincare services, 15%. Today is Tuesday, so we are going to talk about hair care services, which is your 40%. Now, you might wonder, why am I talking about hair care services on Tuesday and not on Monday? Because it's a bigger percentage of the test. Here's why. Because the most failed part in South Carolina, according to South Carolina statistics, is scientific concepts by far. So guess what we deal with on Monday? The first thing we're going to deal with is the biggest problem, which is scientific concepts. And I go over this every Monday, okay? Times usually to be determined, but what I can say is if you are following, thank you. Thank you, Big. Thank you. Appreciate it. So biggest thing I can say is this. If you go to any of my social media, any of my links, the video tends to be uploaded. Okay. So you can usually find this in my public study. Now, if you want more pertinent information, more important information, what I like to call high percentage, then of course you can sign up and pay for my Past Barber Theory class. That's if you need it. Okay. If you're just doing casual study, you can usually go on my YouTube. Like I said, my YouTube channel, I tend to upload a lot. I'm trying to work into a more consistent schedule with it. I'll get it figured out. But until then, just bear with me. But I can say this. You can look on my videos now. I've literally got, right now, I know hundreds of videos dealing with this thing. Okay. Yes, you did. But Buns, you know I got you. Okay. You know I got you when you go back live. All right. And any of you guys, if y'all ain't following, let me make sure I say it right on here so they can find you. But Bun Kiss 18, go ahead and go follow her. Okay. She got wonderful content. She is hilarious. She got a hell of a voice. She got a hell of a channel, and she is bad as hell. Y'all know what I mean. She finding them up. But you'll see it when you go on the class. Anyway, excuse me, when you go on the channel. All right. So today is Tuesday. We're going to get into hair care services. And all I'm going to do is just identify one of the things from the CIB, and then we're just going to talk about it a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to jump off of here. I literally have seen for myself, in addition to looked up some research, you got about 12 to 15 minutes. You hold somebody's attention. And then after that, it's a wrap. Okay. So let's knock something out real quick. All right. Hair care services, 40%. You got 5 points of reference for it. A, client consultation, analysis, and documentation for hair care services. B, hair care. C, hair design. D, apply knowledge of preparation, procedures, and safety for head shaving. And E, apply knowledge of principles, procedures, and safety for chemical services. All right. Today, we are going to deal with client consultation, analysis, and documentation for hair care services. So we're going to go through the book. Again, this is, hey, Tiffany, what's up? Hey, is that Kayla? Thank you, Kayla. Even though that looked like a message saying you sent the rose, but it's cool. Thank you. Oh, it's my girl. What's up, lady? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? All right. So out of part A, you got 4 points, sub points of reference within that. 1, analyze condition of client's hair and scalp. 2, recognize conditions that will prohibit service, as in a contraindication. 3, determine services and or products. Or 4, document and maintain client records. All right. So 1A, analyze condition of client's hair and scalp. So let's talk about scalp analysis. All right. Very, very easy. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you joining my live. Thank you for jumping on. Let's see. But yeah, so the CIB exists so you know what to study throughout the book, because this book is 830 pages. So instead of just saying, okay, I'm gonna start page 1 and go all the way to 830, what you're gonna do is more focused. You're gonna say, okay, the CIB tells me what they're looking for. Let me identify what they're looking for and go straight to it. I mean, it only that do make sense to y'all, right? That do make sense to y'all, okay? Right? If somebody told me, okay, this is what I expect, these are the areas of study that I want on the test, wouldn't you just go straight to them and just say, all right, let me knock those out versus going chronologically? Because a lot of chapters, you got about 8 or 9 chapters that's in this book, they don't ask you a single question on. If they might ask 1 or 2 out of all of those chapters combined, think about that. All right, so let's see, scalp analysis. All right, 265. All right. Nope. That's not it. Okay. All right. So, barbering services include a variety of applications. Knowledge and skill in performing hair analysis and analytics can be acquired by observation and practice using the senses of sight, hearing, smell, and touch. All right. Sight. Observation will impart some knowledge immediately, such as whether the hair looks dry or oily. Sight alone, however, will not provide an accurate judgment of the hair's quality. That's very true. But while we're talking about sight, let me say this too. That's a great time to apply a scalp analysis, right? When you are doing a scalp analysis, another thing that I always advise my barber students to look for is the following: the direction of the hair stream. Okay. And all of this stuff can be observed literally from the time they walk through the door. Okay. Matter of fact, if it's a client and it's their new, if it's their first time coming, and I've even seen them on social media or something like that, like say somebody sends me a message through Facebook, okay, I might go to their profile and have a look at their hair, have a look at their head. Okay, what patterns do I see already? These are things that you can already use your sight to help you with before they even walk through the door. So sight is a very, very big one. It's not the end all be all of everything, but it's a great place to start when you're doing analysis and things like that. But like it says in the book, and I agree, okay, sight alone will not provide an accurate judgment of the hair's quality, but there's a lot of information that it can give you. Okay, just be aware of that. Stephen Howard, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Hearing. Some clients will volunteer information about their hair, health problems, or experiences with products and medications. Since all of these factors are important when deciding how to treat the hair, it is advisable to listen carefully. Okay, a lot of times they will, but in my experience, a lot of times they won't. And you have to, as a barber, you're somebody that your customer is going to trust. Okay, so you have to establish that trust, and it only helps if you have that trust established so they can tell you more about the things that are affecting them as far as their body, because that affects your hair. Okay, anybody that has studied me enough to know when I get to talking about the reticular and papillary layer of the dermis, and that's where all the good stuff that helps hair growth and all that stuff, it helps to know if you're dealing with certain things, like if you're taking certain type of medications, if you got certain health problems, if you got certain underlying conditions that need certain treatments that can affect your body, which in turn affects your hair. Your barber needs to know this. Your stylist needs to know this. Okay. But as a barber, I have to establish trust with my client so they know that they can tell me that in full confidence, and then we can figure it out what needs to be done as far as their hair. And I'll give you an example. So let's say somebody has a history of high blood pressure, okay, and then they're taking a certain type of they're taking a certain type of medicine for high blood pressure, and what that does is it may affect your blood flow, which affects your follicles, and your follicles that affects your hair growth, how it grows, if you got patches, if you got spots, all of that type of stuff, just off that one thing. Okay, it helps that It helps to impart the trust to the customer so they'll tell you about it. Because if you don't tell me about it and I'm just doing what I normally do, I might give you a shampoo and a conditioning treatment that's just standard and it might not help you. But then if you tell me, well, I'm taking this type of medication and my hair is weaker and my hair is brittle because of this, or my hair feels this type of way, or it affects this structure, this texture, that type of thing, that's something that we need to know about so we can work on that together. Okay. As far as like the products that we might use and the type of hair, I mean, even that comes down to the haircut. Okay. So that's just off of hearing. All right. Now let's get to smell and touch. It get a little silly, but bear with me. Smell. Certain scalp disorders will create an odor. If the client is in general good health and the scalp is clean, the hair should be odor free. Should be. Okay. Emphasis on should be. But yes, there are certain things. It's been certain times where it's certain odors that you be like, all right, your hair really, really fucking stinks. And that could be the work environment that they're coming from. They could be getting off work. I get a lot of third shifters. They get off work early in the morning and they're coming straight from work, straight to the school or to the shop. Excuse me, y'all. Straight to the school or the shop from work. Oh yeah, we need to shampoo that. We need to put a shampoo on there. We need to get a conditioner going, that type of thing. Okay. But it could be conditions too. I've definitely had somebody that they were going through chemotherapy, and the effect it was having on their body, it was their hair was producing this type of smell. Not to say that it was just like stinky or something like that, but it was an odd smell. Okay. That's one of those effects, but it really can be anything. Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute, Cam. All right. Touch. Sense of touch is key to analyzing hair condition and texture. This sense needs to be developed to its fullest capacity for the barber to provide truly professional services. I cannot stress that enough. And the argument rages on about gloves versus no gloves. Here's my thing. If I'm not using gloves, I can use my sense of touch to derive even more information that I put together with the previous three that we just talked about. Okay. Um, but you have people that use gloves, you have people that don't use gloves. Me personally, I prefer not to use gloves for that very type of reason. Like all of this stuff matters. All this stuff adds to the profile of your customer. Now, once you get a good idea of what you're dealing with, once you get a good idea of your customer's hair texture, hair stream, hair flow, texture, porosity, density, resistance level, all of that stuff, okay, then it don't matter as much. But I like to get an idea of what I'm dealing with using all my senses. Okay. All right. One more. We out of here. Always begin the analysis with checking the scalp first, since any disorders or conditions found there could prohibit a service from being performed, which is called a contraindication. We'll cover that in another video. When analyzing the scalp, comb through the hair gently while parting it to check for hypertrophies, abrasions, and parasites. Do not scrape the scalp. Do not begin any service if parasites are present, obviously. Do not proceed with chemical services if there are signs of irritation or abrasions. All right. Should be common sense, but you'll be surprised. I think I'm saying it right. Y'all stay with me. Hypertrophies, such as moles or warts, require extreme care when combing through the hair to avoid catching the comb on these abnormal skin growths. If you see changes in a hypertrophy from one client visit to another, suggest that your client see a physician. Barbers play a significant role in the early detection of many skin cancers. So, any unusual looking pigmentation or growth on the scalp should be referred to a physician. Okay, great point, because here's the thing. If I'm doing a scalp analysis and I see something, I'm going to ask you, have you seen this with your own head? You would be surprised. It's certain things that people might not notice because they might not feel it. Okay. They may not feel it when they wash their hair, when they brush their hair, or comb their hair, or anything like that. But I might see something and I say, okay, I'm looking at your head and your hair and your scalp with a different perspective. Let me take a picture of this and make sure you're aware of this. Or if it's something that was not that bad and it looks like it's gotten worse, I'm it's up to me. It's my responsibility to bring that up to you. Okay. It's not my responsibility just to begin service and just say, okay, forget it. Let me get my money, go ahead and cut this hair. No, what we're going to do is we're going to go over certain things. And like I said, this is for your benefit as much as mine. Okay. It's those little things that make a client, if you're a barber student, it's those little things that make your client trust you even more. That be the type of thing to where they say, okay, I don't want to go to anybody else. As long as you're cutting hair, I don't want to go to anybody else. All of those little things are important. And that just come from a scalp analysis. Okay. We didn't even talk about cutting the hair yet. We didn't talk about all the other stuff that goes into it. But yeah, so we covered part A1, client consultation analysis, documentation for haircare services. So we covered analysis for it, and the part one out of that, analyze condition of client's hair and scalp. Okay, assessment. Chocolate, what's going on? But yeah, you caught me on the tail end. But yeah, that's my time for today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about let me make sure I get it right. Facial hair and skincare services, 15%. Like I said, every week, Monday, scientific concepts, Tuesday, hair care services, Wednesday, something from facial hair and skincare services, and Thursday, implements and equipment. And Friday, I like to do my full court press where we go through a little bit of everything. Okay. And if you savvy, you would take advantage of that, because a lot of that stuff I tend to go over tends to be medium to high percentage. Now, it's not the good stuff, meaning it's not the golden stuff. You know, when I say high percentage, like it may be anywhere from 40 to 70%, but anything higher than 70%, from 70 to 90, 95% test percent, high percentage questions, all that stuff. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to buy the class. Okay. It's called Past Barber Theory, that thing in there. And if you know anybody looking to get into the barber industry, it's pretty much three things you're gonna need on your way to a license. You're gonna need to be able to pass Barber Theory. You're gonna need to be able to pass Barber Practical, and then you're gonna need some of the skills to go ahead and be doing basic cuts, basic shape ups, that type of thing. Okay. So with that being said, all my social medias, you can find me at Pierre Huey, Pierrehouey. Literally everything. So YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, be on the lookout. I had to recreate another page for my school, which is All Even Barber School, which is currently now All Even Barber School SC. So any of you guys that were following me with my school page, if you see All Even Barber School SC, that is me. Had to do a new page. That's another story for another live. Okay. I'm gonna jump on. Oh, wait. Before I go, this particular broadcast is brought to you by none other than Brandy Pearson, aka your event specialist, YES. Okay. She is doing a adult prom coming this Saturday. The Sparkle City's adult prom is going on this Saturday, 7 p.m. to midnight. We're gonna try to make it go a little bit longer, but that's another story. But yeah, if that's your thing, if you into the prom, if you were into the prom and that's something that you want to experience again as an adult, if you are in the Spartanburg, Lyman area, surrounding areas, the adult prom is going on. You can just Google Sparkle City Adult Prom. Okay. So we're going to give her a round of applause real quick. Matter of fact, we're going to give her the horn too before we get up out of here. All right. With that being said, I'm your instructor, Pierre Huey, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience, perseverance, pass your barber test. Okay. Y'all give my students, y'all cross y'all fingers for them. Wish them good luck. All right. I want them to murder that test. Okay. I don't want them sitting in there all day long unless they just, memorizing the questions to bring them back to me and we talk about it. But that's another story. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will see y'all soon.